Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Be Real, Get Real podcast. This is our time to share real stories of real women who are out in the world making a difference and who've come through some interesting trials and tribulations. Haven't we all? And it's through hearing their stories that we get filled up to move forward, to live out our lives at the next level. And today I have the privilege of introducing you to Suzy Prudden, who we're going to be talking today about her journey and the amazing work that she's doing today through her company called Itty Bitty Publishing. Hi, Suzy.
Hi, Nancy. Thank you for having me on your show.
It is my absolute pleasure. And I'll tell you, as I was doing a little bit of research before bringing you on, I mean, we've known each other, I don't know, 5 years, maybe even longer than that.
Probably longer.
Yeah, probably longer than that. And we just started really playing together at a deeper level in the last few months. And it's been absolutely wonderful, especially because now I get to share you with our audience. So I'm so excited about that. And when I was doing some research, getting ready for our show today, I came upon your TED Talk. And wow, there were things about you I never knew that I learned from that TED Talk.
There's lots of pages in my history.
Yes, and it's quite a story. It's a great read, getting to know Suzy. So, tell us a little bit about your background, and I love how you opened the talk, but I'm going to let you do it because you do it really well.
Talk, but history wise, my whole life seems to have been it was unplanned. Let's put it that way. I had other plans, and I was going to Carnegie Tech to become an actress. My mother told me I couldn't date the boy I was dating, so at 19, I ran away and married him.
Of course.
Of course. I mean, you don't tell someone you can't date him. I mean, so she couldn't tell me that anymore. We moved to New York, which is where I'm originally from, and then he went back to school, and I was supporting him. We were going to have a baby, so I thought, no, I better do something other than work as a gal rider. And I started my own company at the age of 22, a fitness company, because my mother was the nation's foremost fitness authority.
Wow.
And I used her name, Prudden, and I became a famous fitness authority. And I had a fitness school where I specialized with toddlers on the Upper West Side. And in 1971, I sold my first book to William Morrow at a cocktail party in East Hampton, Long Island. And after they said yes, they wanted to buy my book, I then called the William Morris agency and got myself, I said, I need an agent, and they assigned an agent to me. So I did it completely backwards. And that book led to another book, which led to another book, which led to another book, which led to a TV show, which led to, on NBC, which led to me participating on a regular show, an hourly show, 7 minutes every week on Sundays, which led to more books, which led to, it just led to stuff, all kinds of stuff. And did 18 national tours and always focused at that time on fitness. And then I sold that business and started doing body-mind technology in the 80s before people thought about it.
Well, hold on a second. Everything you're telling me sounds like you had a charmed life. You know, everything was just going perfectly. And
get to that point.
Because I heard unplanned, so I'm guessing there were some other things that showed up.
Oh my God, yes. So I kept doing stuff, and I became friends with Louise Hay. She published my book. That's the book that got me on the Oprah show. Metaphysics, Your Thoughts Taking Shape, and that was in 1989. And in 1990, on one day, and I remember it so clearly, in February, every job I had lined up for the following year, not knowing that the different people, they all called me and canceled.
Oh my.
All of them. That same day, my rent check bounced. And I went, oh dear, I'm in trouble. And I woke up to the fact that I had absolutely no money and no work. And I ended up homeless for 10 months. And that was a major wake-up call. And as I sat in my kitchen that day, and I'm thinking, I was so ashamed. Oh my goodness. First of all, I was a celebrity. And people really thought I was a big deal.
All that in a bag of chips.
That too. And it was true. I was. But I had nothing underneath.
Let me ask you something about this, because we all, myself included, have been through times where I'm either made a bad investment, I made a mistake, I did things wrong, and yet, we have this persona. Mm-hmm. And, the feeling of shame and guilt and, imposter syndrome. How do you, and let me say, today it's magnified through social media, like how much we're on display right now. So how do you make it through those days when you've got to do a show, and a show can be just showing up at somebody's house. It doesn't have to be a TV show, right? You still got to get out there and perform to some level. How do you do that when there's this mismatch of going on inside of what you're feeling?
That's a really good question. I was talking with Gary Zukoff. We were presenting at an event in the early 2000s. We were having dinner at this place in Northern California. I don't know how this came up. And he said, well, how do I do that? I said, lean back to the arms of God. Now, I am not a religious person, but I'm a very, very spiritual person. And as this was going on, when I woke up, the realization hit me that I was literally about to lose my house and everything. I looked at the ceiling and I said, thank you, God. I just really love this experience because it's going to change my life. And the interesting thing about that statement was I meant it. I was terrified. I would wake up in the middle of the night sweating profusely. I mean, I'd slide out of bed. It was terrifying. And all I could think about was, and I just asked, what do I have to do today? What do I have to do today?
Right. Just today.
Just today. That's all I could handle.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how could I manage to pay my rent? I mean, I got it. So from that February to May, the end of my lease, my landlady lowered my rent, and I paid weekly. And I got a job, and it's so funny because I hadn't worked for anybody since I'm 22. And I made $5,000 a week. Or I'd do a photo shoot and make $5,000 for 3 hours. Mm-hmm. I was making a lot of money at one point, and then I was making nothing. And I didn't know. The key, Nancy, that I know now. Okay, you have to have a team. You have to have a team. I had nobody. Well, what do I have to do today? And then I would show up.
Well, and really, really key is about building the team when the times are good.
Yes.
Right? And being there for other people when the times are good. So that, that's what community is all about. And that's one of the things that really, the relationships that get built within our community, people are there for each other.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I built the team later. But mm-hmm. I was alone. And all I could do was say, okay, but what you saw it on my talk, that I have an attitude that I'm okay, even when I'm not okay. And I think that I basically, because I had that attitude, I mean, it was funny because the day I left my home and put everything in storage and I was in my car, I stayed at a friend's house, and the second day I went down to La Jolla, and I stayed at the Hyatt on the concierge floor. Now I had no money, I had no home, but here I am in the Hyatt, and because I was speaking there. So I spent 2 days because I was speaking there.
Wow.
The next day I went to Rancho Puerto for a week. Driving in that Saturday morning, I had no idea where I was going to be the following Saturday. But I was a famous person. Mm-hmm. I just didn't have any money, and I was good, and I am good at what I do. So I spent a week teaching at Rancho Puerto, and then I don't know where I went, but that's how I lived for 10 months.
Wow. Well, and consistently asking the question,
What
do I have to do today?
Yep.
And I think sometimes when we get knocked down, we stay down and we don't ask that question. I got knocked down. Okay, what can I do today? Rather than, getting lost in, oh, well, how's this going to be? And it's not always easy. And having some spiritual practice, which you obviously had before this. Let me ask you a question, and then I want to move us on to talk about what you're now doing, which is so amazing, and I just freaking love it. So you said you have an attitude, you've always had the attitude, I'm okay, even when everything's not okay. How did you cultivate that? Was that something that was bred in your family? How did that lesson come to you?
Okay, so I believe in mantras.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that what you say, you create. And it's funny because it never occurred to me until you asked this question, how I got here. So when I was going through the insanity of what it was, it was terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that if I stayed in the terror, I wouldn't be able to move. So I remember being in my car and driving and saying, okay, I'm 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 okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you notice how the shift occurred?
Yes. Yeah.
And I tell that to people. I say, you're okay. Just focus on the okayness.
Mm.
Now, I do have a spiritual practice, and I do believe that we are here to learn and that we are all God's children.
Mm-hmm.
God doesn't want anything bad to happen to us, even though bad stuff does.
Yeah. Like right. Because right now I'm okay.
I'm okay.
Right. Just right now. Yeah.
I'm okay.
Mm.
And I live that. I'm okay.
You're better than okay in my book.
No, I'm better than okay.
I understand. I just wanted to throw in, just by the way, just for the audience listening in, isn't she amazing? Like how you have cultivated such strength and confidence in the midst of storms, and how you lift each other up. Because I just heard you say that. I tell people all the time, you're okay.
Yeah.
Like, and that's part of the essence of who you are, and the amazing gift that you are to our community, to me personally, and the world. So I just wanted to make sure we got that in, because she's amazing. So show some love. If you're watching on this, listening in, go ahead and share some love with Suzy Prudden.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing today was, again, it wasn't planned. It was, I took a workshop with James Malinchek in 2006. Mm-hmm. And it was a speaker's workshop. And he talked about writing a little book. Now, I've only written big books. And I'm driving back with my sister from Las Vegas to Los Angeles. I said, why don't I write Suzy Prudden's itty bitty weight loss book? She said, oh, that's good. And I'll write something. I can't remember what she was going to write. So we got back, and I didn't have time. I was running a weight loss center using hypnosis. And I wrote Running the Business, and she wrote the book. We didn't know what we were doing at all. We didn't choose the correct cover. We bought the 2,000 books that you had to buy at that time. I think I have 1,800 left in my garage. What am I going to do with all those books? So, but it was not an attractive book. We didn't know what we were doing. This is what the book looked like.
Oh, this way. Okay.
And so I asked her to change the cover and make it smaller. And she did, and this is the book. It's now in another iteration, smaller than this, but so this is what it looked like.
Ah.
You notice Suzy Prudden is no longer there.
Right.
And I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking, now my name's been on everything since 1965. Suzy Prudden's this, that, and the other.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I'm looking at it, and I go, you sure you want to take my name off? And she said, I don't care. And I'm looking at it, and I said, well, actually, Pete's, that's what I call it. That's $1 million business. 3 days later, we were in business. This is how I make decisions. 3 days later, we were in business. 2 weeks later, we had our first signed author. 6 weeks later, we had our first published book. And now we have well over 100 books. We have 87 bestsellers, and we've done 87 best-selling campaigns. And my focus is the entrepreneur And the expert, the health professional, somebody who has a message, maybe they've been working on a book for the past 10 years, they just can't get it done. Itty bitty books are itty bitty. There are 15 chapters, 2 pages each. Page 1 is written in numbered sentences and paragraphs. Page 2 is written in bullet points, sending people to the website
or whatever's next.
And I look at books as business builders, not just as business cards.
Agreed. Well, and I would imagine when you did the first book and you had all those books sitting in your garage or wherever they were, you're like, there's something else that needs to be done with these books. So I know that you built in a lot of advice and strategy on how to use the book to build your business.
Well, Nancy, when my sister and I are both writers or book people. She's written a lot of novels. I've written a lot of how-to books. And we've also made a lot of mistakes when we were dabbling in self-publishing. I wrote houses, but after the publishing industry changed, my career changed, and so we started self-publishing books. And we found that a lot of people in the self-publishing industry, they'll tell you this is what it costs for this, and then this, and then this, and then this. So when my sister and I started Itty Bitty Publishing, we said, what do people need that we can give them under one umbrella? So it isn't, now you pay me another $3,000.
Yeah.
Now you pay me. I have an author who still hasn't published the book that's already cost $30,000. And it's like, oh no. So my whole premise is we know what to do to help you use your book to move you in the direction of your goals.
Love it.
When people write a book, very often they think the writing part is the most difficult.
No, that's when the day your book is published.
That's when the work begins.
Correct. And so many people forget that. And writing the book is laborious and it takes effort and there's a whole bunch. And then you want to go, whew, the book is done. But now the work begins. I was talking with my friend Bob Berg, who wrote the Go Giver series and many, many other books. And he said the Go Giver first came out I think around a decade ago. And his mission every day still is to do 2 podcasts a day.
Wow.
I may be misquoting, maybe it's 2 a week, but he is out there speaking about it because we've got to consistently give it life and share with people about it. And it gets forgotten. Yeah.
Yeah, and you have to. So I would do a tour with the public when I was in big houses. I would do a 22-city tour. Mm-hmm. That's grueling.
Yeah,
you get up at 5. You're in the studio by 6:30, the TV studio. Then you go to another TV studio. Then you go to a radio show. You go to a newspaper, and then you have a break for lunch maybe, and then you do another newspaper, another TV show.
It's a whirlwind. It's a whirlwind.
And then you're on the plane to the next city. And now it's virtual tours, but you have to do something. You can't just say, here's my book.
Yeah, that's where the work begins. All right. Well, Suzy, thank you for making time to join us today from your at-home studio. I appreciate that. And for all you're doing and that beautiful attitude you have that I'm okay. And what do I need to do today? So remember that. Whatever the winds blow in a direction that you weren't planning on, I'm okay. And what do I do today? Beautiful.
And expect hurdles.
Yes.
I have one quick story about obstacles.
Mm-hmm.
As a child, my mother was a world class rock climber. Up rocks, not walls. Real rocks.
Yeah, right. They didn't have rock climbing places back then.
No. So when I was 6, my mother took me climbing, and she climbed next to me. I had 2 people climbing next to me. I'm 6 years old with a rope,
Wow.
And when I'd get stuck, I would say, "Booth." I had a lift. Booth, mommy, booth. And she would give me a little boost. And I got to the almost top, and there was an overhang. Now, this way. And my mother's trying to figure out how to get me over the overhang.
Mm-hmm.
But what she didn't know, because I was only 6 years old, as I climbed up the cliff, there was a space between the overhang and the cliff that was about this big. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm little, I'm 6. And I went right up through the
wow.
obstacle for me. My mother said, I'm gone. And she's like, wow, where's Suzy? And I poked my head over the cliff, I'm up here. Because there was no obstacle. We only have obstacles when we affirm there's an obstacle in front of us.
Mm.
Without affirming the obstacle, it's not there.
That was good. Golden nuggets, my friends. Golden nuggets. Wow. All right. Well, that was the mic drop moment. So all right, Suzy, thank you for being with us. To all of our listeners and audience out there, be sure to connect with Suzy, all the amazing things she's up to, and go to ittybittypublishing.com and see maybe you have an itty bitty book that's ready to come out.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Suzy. Bye, everybody. Till next time, get out there, be real, get real, and achieve real results. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you.